three-dimensional world which you inhabit can be bent to your will only when you enter the fifth dimension.
Oh boy, fellow time travelers, do we have a treat for you. Adam Sand, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I didn't know you do it in a spaceship.
Well, I can't say everything. There has to be some element of surprise when you arrive.
Was I not supposed to say that?
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
It's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah, I'm completely surprised. I thought I didn't know what I was getting at when I showed up in the parking lot in Trois-Rivières, but now we're inside of a spaceship's hull.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was quite expensive and laborious to set this up, but I think it's all worth it. And it was all done for you.
Is that the rocket fuel right over there? Is that safe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally safe.
Okay.
Totally safe.
Cool.
It has, what's it called? Less deaths than COVID.
That is safe. That's a great marker of what's safe and what isn't, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Might as well start it up
Exactly.
with a bang. So thanks for coming, man.
Oh,
nice to see you, Adam Sand.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
I haven't seen you.
12 months.
Has it been 12 months? Has it been 12 months?
It must have been some time after we did Tuesday night.
We did Tuesday night, but didn't we do Cool after?
Wasn't it Mindy and then Tuesday night, then Cool? Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
100% right. Cool happened after. That was the last time I saw you. It was on Cool.
Yeah, we were.
We're in the East End.
You were doing some behind the scenes.
I was doing behind the scenes.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of captivating content there.
I just captured it. I just held the camera. I didn't do much.
I would say that you were my muse.
You treated me like your muse,
Excellent.
especially when you fed me the biscuits after I did a good job.
Yeah, good boy.
Yeah,
good boy, Adam.
Exactly.
All right, so why don't you tell the Legion, the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers, who is Adam Sand?
Okay, so I'm a tall gray, came here from the planet Zeta-Reticuli, got dropped off here with dolphins. For about 200 years, I was in the spiritual orbit of Earth, and then I transcended down to Earth, and I was birthed in 1987. Now I identify as a human, but before that, I was just a transient spirit, like everybody else, you know, going through the routine and rotation of being different, coming back to life as different. Reincarnation.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Yeah.
You know, so now I'm a 33-year-old male, brown hair, 6'4", human species. Again, I keep having to say that. And it's important to know that we're human, right? And that we all have the feelings as humans and not of animals or gases. And I'm a comedian. I was a YouTuber back in the day, and now I stream on Twitch, write comedy, write videos, write shows, try to pitch them, try to sell them, all the while playing marbles with my good friends. Love marbles.
Marbles.
Yeah, love marbles.
Okay, so maybe a little later we'll get into marbles.
Yeah.
As we grease the groove and move on into this podcast.
Yeah, anytime.
But I like what you said there, and that's a very good intro.
Is it?
Excellent.
Okay.
I love the whole left field of the dolphin thing.
Left field, you mean the truth.
Yeah, but you know, as humans in their early state,
Yeah.
in the primitive state that we are,
Yeah.
the truths haven't yet
Been uncovered.
been uncovered, right? So they're relegated to the woo-woo realm of, yeah, okay, whatever, bro. But science, as you know, because you're a creature of the fifth dimension,
Yeah.
has not yet fully documented the full capacity of this realm.
Exactly. I've studied, like you, the doctrines of Bob Clark and Paul Hellyer and all of those guys who tell us the truth.
Yes, it's all in the Akashic records.
Exactly.
Everything that is.
Just read the books.
Yeah, come on, people.
Yeah.
Just read. But it's also great that you reiterated that you were human, because this galactic feed is going on to obviously trillions of humanoids and gaseous creatures, and not just humans. So it's important for them to be able to visualize what the hell you are.
I agree. I think after this is done, you should project this podcast into space. Didn't NASA do that with a Beatles song way back when? That's just like All We Need Is Love is just playing into the depths of space, and it has been for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I think there were a bunch of clips, and there's art, music, the Beatles included, that is fed through like one of those big ass antennas, I think.
Yeah.
Like in the movie Contact.
Exactly. It's just passing through the space-time continuum, and whoever picks it up is like, whoa,
Exactly.
what is this?
With a bunch of math.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is who we are. And I don't know if it makes any sense, send us a message back. Did you see that movie, Contact?
Of course. Jodie Foster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
And Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, it took me a while to see it. I was always like, I was expecting aliens and stuff, but this is more of just messaging with the unknown.
Yeah, well, the third act gives us what we want.
Yes, it does.
And that was super fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a great movie, and I saw it recently. I saw it during the...
For the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing it before.
Yeah. There's a lot of elements of that movie in Interstellar.
Yes. I would say that Contact is a more digestible form.
Yes.
You know, a little more palatable to the mainstream
with
audience.
More cohesive audio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be a Christopher Nolan thing, that he likes to create chaos, or not chaos, but he's disrupting the senses because you can't focus. And perhaps that's like a fourth or fifth dimension tactic that he's trying to use, because maybe you're not supposed to understand.
Maybe, but also in real life, people muffle their words. You don't understand everybody 100% of the time. So faking it in Hollywood movies, like you have to have some muffled sound here and there. If it's Bane's, I was born in the darkness. Or if it's, what is Matthew McConaughey saying through the library study of his daughter's house? Like you don't really hear it, but it's not important. The important thing is that he's saying something.
Exactly. Right? And maybe he's teaching us, as the, auteur director that he is, that not everything has to be literally understood, but there's more in the feeling and the agony of trying to figure it out in the moment. Maybe like he is, maybe like someone in the other.
Do you like seeing a movie where everything is explained and there's like a nice bow tie on top of the box where you're like, okay, or do you like the ambiguity and having to interpret it 100 different ways and play the guessing game over the test of time?
I really do enjoy the guessing game.
Yeah.
I think there's a fine line, though, of too much guessing game and not enough. For example, and also this goes with the audio, Christopher Nolan's latest, Tenet.
I haven't seen it yet.
So you haven't seen it?
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil anything then. So
I hear it's not digestible enough, and that you're half the time you're like, what the hell is going on?
Okay, so if you heard that much, then I have no problem sharing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, Interstellar, Inception, whatever Christopher Nolan movie it is.
Memento.
Yeah, you can still follow along. You kind of know where it's going, and you know that later on you can sit on it and simmer on it, and things will come to you, and maybe on a second viewing you'll pick things up. But this one for me was, what the fuck is happening?
Oh yeah? But did everyone look good?
Everyone looked good. The sound was, he hit a new height of trying to fuck the audience up by not allowing them to hear anything, because a lot of the movie you couldn't understand.
Okay.
So he leaned into whatever Christopher Nolanisms he's been developing, and he's leaned in all the way. I did have a wonderful conversation with a friend of mine, Trinception,
okay, about
the movie right after, and he had a lot of really cool insight, and it showed that there's a lot that you can try to formulate from it, and as a piece of art, because that's what Christopher Nolan makes. I see it, he makes art, that there's a lot to interpret afterwards. So much because you really don't know what's happening, and the whole movie is just almost a symbol for something else that you have to figure out. But in all his other movies, at least there's some kind of thread. This one just was just on the extreme. I still had a very enjoyable time.
Have you given it a second viewing? Or
I have not.
And how was it going to the theater? Were you nervous? Were you like, oh shit?
Oh, like nervous about...
You saw it IMAX?
Yeah.
Because I made the decision. I'm like, I've been waiting for this movie for years, but I didn't want to go to the theater with this whole pandemic and like, is it safe? I was like, the risk is too high, so I'm just going to not go.
Yeah. So I had no problem with that.
Yeah.
I went in, I was like, look, it didn't even cross my mind. I'm not really all that worried about it.
You'd definitely survive it. You're fit and sexy, and I think that's...
Well, look, sexiness is
COVID is afraid of sexy.
Yeah.
Number one. Dr. Fauci said that during a presser.
And look, and that's at the end of the game. At the end of the day, my crew and I are extremely sexy.
Exactly.
So we
you have nothing to fear.
We licked elevator buttons going all the way up. Like I was touching the escalator rubber.
Okay.
And I was smudging it on my friend Donnie's face.
Oh, Donnie Deacus.
Donnie Deacus represent.
Yeah.
And we all came out alive.
Great.
But all that to say is no, I wasn't that afraid. I'm mindful. I'm not touching all kinds of things.
Was the theater like?
What was
the capacity like?
It was to its capacity.
And that's one person for every 5 seats, or was it like really max cap?
No, it wasn't like a full house. Like they separated the seats.
Okay.
So in a row of 5, like 3 people could sit or 2 people could sit, something like that.
Okay, safe.
So yeah, it felt safe. I had no problem with it. Look, I'm a big proponent of healthy immune system. I feel like going out and about
with friends
is
a booster for your immune system.
It's a
right?
booster for your immune system. All your neurotransmitters benefit. You're getting nutrition from it. Locked up at home, watching the news, watching the count go up, depletes your energy. It lowers your vibe, which is the opposite of inflammation. It raises cortisol levels, stress.
Couch potato mode isn't a healthy mode to be in. Right?
It's not a healthy mode. You start to get in your own head. So I feel like keeping people inside is actually is bad for their immune systems. But like I said, I'm no doctor. I'm just a bro. And all that to say is I wasn't afraid to go to the movies. And so I went and I watched the movie, and it was so nice to be back, eating some corn, some Skittles.
I miss it.
It's a beautiful thing, man.
I miss it, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. So you made the choice to not go, and I respect it. I respect it.
And now I'm waiting. I think it's just a few more weeks until it's released for digital download or digital rental.
Okay, very cool. Just raise you up a little because you're speaking very warm and sexy. So just bring the mic a little closer on that, just because and you don't have to lean over all that much, just because your sultry, sexy voice is.
Yeah.
You see there's what's it called? The thing that like ducks, like the noise gate comes in.
Yeah.
So when you hear it like dimming, it just means give it a little more juice.
Give it a little more oomph.
Yeah, give it a little more oomph. That's all it is.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, saw the movie. You didn't see the movie.
No.
End of story. It was the ultimate level of Christopher Nolan.
So good.
And that's what that was. Let's go back to the reincarnation thing.
Yeah.
That you were talking about at the beginning.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on reincarnation?
I think it's pretty much a tangible, real thing.
Okay. So
people have visions of past lives. People who have no history of, lying, deceiving people for attention. And a lot of these visions that they have like historical accuracies to things that have happened years and years and years and years and years and years ago. So where does that come from? Like, what is that? Maybe it doesn't happen to everybody, but I believe in spiritual reincarnation, that you die, your spirit leaves your body, goes up and comes down when it's called, when it's needed. Again, it's just we're living in a recycling machine, a recycling factory.
So would you say that like our souls are being recycled into new vessels?
I think it is the soul, yeah. And maybe they come down based on the astrology. Maybe. I don't know for sure, but there's something to astrology and kindred spirits, isn't there?
Look, I really think there is.
Yeah.
There's always 2 camps. The people who say, "Oh, this is rubbish."
Yeah.
Moderns do not believe in science.
Yeah, but they said that 200 years ago in a different body.
Of course. And every generation has new science that completely turns the current science on its head.
The people saying that now are the same people 500 years ago who were throwing rocks at Galileo or however long ago that was.
Absolutely. It's like in the makeup of a society, there's a large percentage of people who are so against change, not because they're fear mongers or whatever. It's just like, I think like a productive society needs like 80% conformists.
Yeah.
Blind conformists, because that just propels the machine to keep moving.
Exactly.
So it's like, no hate against them, but like the true artists or inventors or scientists are always on the cusp of discovering things that in their time are deemed absurd and insane.
And what's their antagonist? Catholicism, my friend.
Oh,
most of the time.
The renegades, the ones who discover the things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that it? Is that a consistent?
It's like our planet is made for us in the vision of God. It's for humans, and nothing else evident can contradict that. Otherwise, you're wrong. We're going to throw you in jail for spreading such rumors.
Yeah.
It's 2020. It's different than it was in the 1400s, but it's been active to some degree this whole time, right?
Pretty much.
I believe 10 years ago, I don't know about today, but 10 years ago, like 60 or 70% of the American vote voted based on Catholicism and religion.
So it's like a deeply ingrained thing. And I think as a set of any religion, I'd say if you peel back the layers of its branding, which is based on like where they're from and their people, and whether it's like Judaism or Islam
or Hindu, whatever,
or whatever it is, they're just based on some pretty decent principles that allow the people to live decently.
Yeah. They're bedtime stories that teach values to kids.
Exactly.
Who don't know good and bad yet.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's the fundamentals, I'd say, are good. But it's when people, whether it's in religion or on TikTok, they have a very difficult time separating literal words with a metaphor or a Trojan horse, which is like a story for something else, right? Yeah. A carrier of a different message beneath the lines. And that's where those people throwing rocks, there's just more people throwing rocks than not. So those are the ones who create the chaos.
Exactly. And as not being a rock thrower, we're not throwing rocks back. We're just like catching the rocks and putting them on the ground and saying, hey, this isn't what we're supposed to be doing. The other differences of other choices shouldn't result in violence, but it sort of has for a millennia,
Well, I think it's, when I say that like humans are still very primitive, that's a huge example of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like as technologically advanced as we are, and we have our phones and we can order shit on Amazon next day.
Yeah.
Which might be the worst thing for the planet ever. Like if I can order whatever I want and it arrives tomorrow, there's no way I'm the only one doing that. And there's no way it's that organized that it's good for you.
Everybody's doing that.
Good for the environment.
Look at Amazon stock. It is up, up, up. And that's because everyone is just, what's that movie? The movie WALL-E. Remember WALL-E? Remember the humans in WALL-E? They're just like fat, obese larders who sit on an electrical chair and never get up and never do any activity or physical sports, or they're just there. Are we evolving to be that? Was that movie wrong? I hope so, but
is that what we are?
That's not what we are right now, but that may be where we're going.
Because look at everything we do. Everything we do, even this podcast.
Yeah.
Your career is heavily based with online stuff.
Yes.
Or media consumption.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's making a movie or writing a script or an online show, it's all online. We're all feeding the machine where people are going to be sitting in front of a screen to consume.
Yes. But that's why I like stand-up comedy so much, because you have a live audience and it's not just looking at a camera and faking lines. There's an actual tangible energy between the performer and the audience that, you pass it back and forth like a baseball. And
you have to earn it. You have to be present and you have to...
Oh, yeah.
If it's not going your way, you have to figure out in real time.
Yeah, it's not like you're recording yourself and you're like, oh, I'm going to put canned laughter in this not funny joke to make other people laugh, give them the illusion that this bad joke is funny. That's ingenuine, that's fake. It's not real. You have to go out there and feel a room and see what's funny and take the risk of bombing, and you don't get that in online videos. You need a live audience. There's something with a live audience that just makes it more amazing.
I totally agree.
Yeah. As a musical artist, performing wise, like, do you want to be in a band practice space with only your bandmates, or do you want to see an audience react and feed off the energy that
that's
they
the
give
dream.
You? Yeah, exactly.
That is the dream. That's what I want to do. I want to go from city to city and play shows and interact with people and thrive on the energy and throw back. That's why I love this podcast, because it's live and in the moment. There's nothing that you can plan. It's whatever you say is where we're going next.
There's no pre-interview. I don't know what we're talking. Coming into this, I was like, what are we going to talk about? But I'm friends with you. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. What, you
record
think
and go.
We can't talk?
Yeah.
Fuck, we can talk about whatever we want.
Anything.
Because that's what it's about. It's about being real and not overly curated. And there's this live energy here. Even I've done a couple of podcasts now through Zoom, and it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same because there isn't this real-time energy. Even when we watch Rogan and he's doing an off-site one, not the same, right? It's just not the same.
He doesn't even like those. He says he doesn't like those.
Yeah, but now he kind of has to.
Yeah.
Because the numbers are going up, and now it's like if you have COVID, it's almost like the scarlet letter or whatever the fuck it is.
They had COVID on the production of Rogan's show a little while ago.
Yeah, Jamie.
The producer, yeah, exactly.
Oh, and like into conspiracy land, it was right before Kanye was coming on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I saw someone in the comments say, yeah, coincidence? I think not.
I saw you watch the Kanye video. I saw you repost some stuff. He said some crazy shit. But also, like, I'm sort of with him on his Star Wars outlook, where he was sort of saying the prequel trilogy is, you can't even compare it to episode 1 through 6. It's incomparable. But then the examples he used were bullshit. He was like, yeah, the prequel trilogy is so much better than the sequel trilogy. And then Joe's like, why? And then he's like, man, Obi-Wan saying, I got the high ground. And I'm like, that's the example you gave? I was like,
I still liked it because he referenced it.
Yeah, me too. But I was like, that's the example you gave? What?
But what was he saying? He liked episode, like the later ones from the original?
Yeah, he was saying that the corporate Disney movies don't even compare to George Lucas's movies because it's George Lucas's child and he knows the canon of it. He knows what's allowed, what's not allowed, the rules, where things are going. And Disney just made a little blunder. I think it's called the blunder, where you have like a mistake.
Well, yeah, because their trilogy
Yeah.
was 3 separate movies with 3 separate
It was
stories.
passing a baton. It was like taking the 2 towers out of Tolkien's masterpiece and giving it to somebody else to write. It's not gonna. It's the puzzle piece. The puzzle piece isn't gonna fit into the puzzle.
Yeah, it wasn't a concise body of work. Like, or not concise. It wasn't a body of work. It was independent. It's like they tried to do what they do with like TV shows, where every episode is a different director.
Yes,
and you can afford to do that maybe in a TV show.
Yeah,
but in a Star Wars trilogy, there has to be a beginning, middle, and end.
Exactly.
And there just wasn't that.
Yeah, it didn't feel like anything progressed. And, you know, especially with a trilogy is like the master of beginning, middle, and end. And the beginning has a beginning, middle, and end. The middle has a beginning, middle, and end. And the end has a beginning, middle, and end.
Of course.
And they just didn't align.
Well, no one was working together on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, yeah, you're going to do this one now. And it's going to be great. Huge director.
It was like, I think 7 and 9 were going to the right side and 8 was going to the left side. And you're like, huh? What? Might as well put Jar Jar in there.
Yeah, it was bizarre. I still enjoyed them.
Yeah,
I still enjoyed when they came out. They're still events.
Yeah.
So what was Kanye saying? About the Star Wars, like which ones did he like most? Like the ones from the 70s and 80s, or the
he kept
2000s?
saying that his favorite was Revenge of the Sith, and I was like, what? But he grouped them all together as Disney made and Lucas made.
Fair.
And Lucas made takes precedent always. So I agree with a lot of the stuff he said, but then the examples he gave, I was just like, I don't have that same thought. I don't have that same thought.
Well, he's entitled to his own.
I wouldn't isolate the "I've got the higher ground" quote as the reason that movie's the best one.
Yeah, no, but no, I feel you. But he said a bunch of things during that podcast that just showed that he really does think differently.
Oh yeah.
He sees things differently. He says stuff that perhaps we kind of have a blink of that in our minds, and then don't really spend too much time thinking about it. But he's consistently grown and built and like achieved these like monumentous
so many
things.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's being a producer, you know, or
shoes
back in the day with Jay-Z, becoming a rapper,
dropping out of NYU to pursue what isn't that a story? Wasn't he at NYU and he was a college dropout, which is why his album's called College Dropout.
Okay.
And then he became the #1 rapper ever.
And he also then started Yeezy, which exploded. He did Sunday Service, which is like the crazy church stuff, like with all,
Insane.
and I say crazy in terms of like how successful it was. I think he's still doing it.
Yeah. Let's not forget his presidency campaign.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a big one.
Well, the fact that he did it, did he get very much traction?
He got a bunch of votes. Like I saw his numbers. I think he got like 60 to 70,000 votes in
Holy
America.
shit.
Yeah. Which isn't that much.
And
but
it was kind of an afterthought for him,
yeah,
right?
and you couldn't vote for him in every state.
Why?
So, because it's a state by state electoral process, and some of them required him to have his submissions in weeks earlier, so he was void of getting voted on. But I think he did it just to vote for himself in a presidential election,
Okay.
which is cool.
And he said that 2024 is really where he wants to go.
Yeah.
Like he's really focused on that.
He's going to go up against his old friend Donald Trump in 2024.
Oh, you think Donald Trump's going to come back?
I think he's going to try to.
Okay. Well, because it's not even 100% confirmed that he's out yet.
Yeah, but
It's looking like he's out.
it looks like he's out. I hope he's out.
But the fat lady has not sung yet.
There's been no singing of a fat lady.
We never know. And isn't it the funniest time ever in media that one news network or one side of the news network will tell you this news?
Oh, yeah.
And then the other side will tell you other news. And it's like and this is like they were saying it on Rogan too, there's like no overlap.
It's crazy.
Like they're completely own worlds.
I watch CNN and I read CNN.com, but every now and then for fun, I'll go to like Fox News website or put it on the TV, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the exact opposite of what they're saying. And I was like, what is happening? How could they be? This is the news. You know, the news is supposed to be real no matter what network you're going to. This is the news.
Yeah.
And they just spin it into two completely different beasts. And you can't really trust any news anymore.
And yeah, and each of those beasts have their own YouTubers who are following the whatever narrative, and there's like an equal amount. That's like, look at the votes. It's 50-50 because it's literally, and
Slim margin, 50-50.
And dude, the states, it really impressed me that there were almost no landslide like state victories.
I was surprised. I was surprised by that.
Like I thought that some states would be one side and some states would be the other, but like Texas is like what, 52%?
Yeah.
California was a huge one, and it was like what, 63?
But if you're going out of LA and going out of San Diego and San Francisco, it's a lot of Republican places in California, and that surprised me because I go to California, you go to California, but we go to LA. We don't know.
That's its own bubble. Yeah.
We don't know Republican California.
No.
But it exists.
Of course it exists, and that's where I'd say a lot of the people live.
Yeah.
So California, you would expect, well, people would expect it maybe based on LA, but I actually thought it would be closer there because of that idea that we know that outside of LA there's a lot of Republicans.
Yeah.
But it just shows how, to me, I always look at it from the binary standpoint of consciousness or the people. It's always them or us, right? It's not, there's no gray zone.
No.
And every state is almost 50-50. And everyone's like, no, I'm keto, or I'm vegan, or I'm this, or I'm that. Or
It's crazy. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish it was non-binary, but it's a two-party system no matter how many parties are in the mix.
I think because the average person or
in Canada, it's a little bit better because we have other parties that we pay attention to besides the Liberals and or whatever they are.
yeah, exactly.
Like I know the NDP, the Green Party. I know the other parties. In the States, it's like you only know two parties. That's it.
Yeah, because no one's going to report on the minority thing because it doesn't get views.
Yeah.
So who cares? It's and that's the way I look at it, is the people on one side who are totally against the people on the other side have no awareness that their entire belief system is based on whatever they're consuming, whatever their upbringing was, and that the people that maybe they want to angrily take down or say are stupid are the way they are for the exact same reasons that person on the other side is the way they are.
Yeah.
And if more people could understand that we're just vessels absorbing our environment and that our persona is merely a construct of these outside factors that we were just plopped inside of, then we could say, hey, we have a lot more in common. But I think it's almost like religious, right? It's like, no, I'm this and you're that, and we don't like each other. So people say, that religions are fucked up, because how could you say that this God is only for me, and that God, because you don't believe in him, is going to take you down? And it's almost no different than people who are extreme left or extreme right. They don't understand the common denominators. They don't see that they're really...
Hey, man, it's the same God, dude.
It's,
you know?
It's all the same. We're all breathing the same air. But my point there is religions worked, let's say back in the day or whatever, because...
Back in the days in like Greek mythology?
Well, in the time when there wasn't a globalized world that was connected...
Yes.
A Muslim hating a Christian didn't fucking matter because a Muslim never met a Christian.
Yeah.
And a Christian hating a Muslim never mattered because they never met each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just like a ghost in the story.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. But as people start to connect and meet each other, two things happen. I think usually they meet each other and realize, oh,
we're not so
different, you and I.
Yeah.
You know, you sell some great latkes.
Yeah.
And I make some great spanakopita.
Exactly.
And
we both like to fuck.
Oh, you're fucking right. And then we mix and we do all our things, and it's good stuff. I think the people who are the angriest are the ones who are not very well socialized. Mm-hmm. The ones who are in their boxes, in their bubbles, in their domains.
But aren't they in these boxes and bubbles because those two sides are like, we don't want you. You have to get the fuck out of our space.
I think it's just where they live and the friends they have. Mm-hmm. If they have a group of friends and they all drink the same Kool-Aid, they don't have a need to meet more people.
Yeah.
You know, they have their job, they have their work. The people that they work with are probably the same values as them. And they just don't have a routine where they're seeing different people or learning. Or like you're a comedian.
Yeah.
You're a YouTuber. You've been able to experience life in a different way than the average person.
Absolutely.
You've been able to see
but at the same time,
yeah.
it's a lot of the same shit. Like when I'm surrounded by 5 people who are really positive and really good, it brings out the best in you, no matter where you are, who you're with. And they have the exact same issue. I feel like everyone has to get to like a tipping point or breaking point where they either buy in or they smarten up and say, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm gonna disassociate myself from this, and I'm gonna go do that, because that is freedom, and this, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I don't want it.
It's like autopilot where you're just boldly whatever your programming
You're
is.
going through the motions and of standardized expectancies because of what you're surrounded by.
Yeah. And when you say you have to hit a breaking point, that's like could be seen as a rock bottom or an opportunity or reason for change.
It's got to be something, yeah. It's the moment of the dark night of the soul where you find God or decide you want to find God. Only it's the opposite, because we don't want to find God. We want to find ourselves.
Yes. And that in the fabric of society that we live in, it's almost so safe and controlled, and you can exist in your bubble without ever really hitting a ripple. And so it's very difficult to veer out of it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I empathize and I respect where people come from despite their belief system, because I understand that they just haven't hit that fork in the road or that depth of the soul.
But some people are so into what they were raised with that they don't even want to hit the fork. They don't aspire to hit the fork. I know so many people who like went to high school, went to college, went to university, live right by their parents, and that they're like, I made it. You know, I'm an accountant or a dentist now who lives a block away from my parents. I made it. Experiment. You got to experiment and go see if this is really for you. It's sort of like when you're Amish, before you go into full adulthood.
I remember when I was Amish.
You were Amish?
No.
But I think it's like after your education in an Amish society, you go to the big city to see what it's like. And usually you end up coming back, but a few of them are like, you know what? This is really cool. I get to do so many things. I get to have an alarm clock instead of a sundial. Whoa, electricity? Maybe I'll test this out a little bit before I go back home where I'm comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with being comfortable and doing what you want to do, but I'm all about testing the boundaries and seeing what energy pulls you in.
And so to that point, you want to test limits. You want to push the edge. You want to see what you're made of. Is that not a product of your genetic code, of your upbringing, of perhaps the environment you grew up in and what you saw?
you know, you could argue it both ways, because to do that, you have to like dissect, okay, look at all my friends around you and look at your family. And are we going in a similar direction? And I'm not, you know, like one of my brothers is a banker. My sister is in marketing. My other brother's a musician, and we all do different things. So in terms of our upbringing, we've all gone in different directions with life and
how
our
are your
career.
parents
In
terms of what you needed to do in life? Were they
disciplines,
very strict about their expectations of you?
yeah, maybe, but also like maybe those, what I think of that, maybe that's all in my mind. You know, it was like growing up, if I was drinking or smoking weed, I'd be like, I can't tell my fucking parents. They can't know. That's because that's bad, and they're going to judge me and discipline me and get mad at me.
Yeah, but that's a normal thing.
Take away my Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
But I had other friends who were like, oh, my parents know when I smoke weed, and I could talk to them about girls, and I could talk to them about this stuff. And I don't know which is better and which is worse. I think they're all the same, to tell you the truth, but I sort of like was jealous of that relationship. I wish I could like smoke a joint in front of my dad and he'll be like, oh, cool. That's interesting that you do that. What's it like? Let's talk about it. Instead of just feeling sort of like a shunning almost for doing something that I think they would construe as negative.
Okay, I get that point, and I've had a handful of friends like that growing up. But to the point of your career,
Yeah.
when you were young, were they like, Adam Sand, you will be an accountant?
Oh yeah, I think I was groomed to become a lawyer or go into law. You know,
Okay.
That my father's a lawyer, and you know, there was a little bit of pressure to become a lawyer, but ultimately, pretty early on, I started making comedy videos with my friends, and sooner than later, my parents saw me doing questionable things in videos on YouTube. You know, there's one video out there where I hump a lamp when I'm naked, and they're like, okay, maybe he's not going to be a lawyer. Maybe he's going to just be the internet's village idiot or whatever. And so yeah, and then we won a Doritos contest. And I think with the Doritos contest, we won like $100,000. And then people started hiring us to do commercials. People started hiring me to do online marketing. And at that point, they were like, oh, this is a possible career. You know, it's the same way the old-fashioned parents look at video gaming as you're wasting your time. Stop playing video games. But today, right now, there's literally 15-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids playing Fortnite and making $10 million a year.
Yeah.
And if it brings in the cheddar, if it brings home the bacon, that's when the parents should be like, you know what? We were wrong. We were delusional a little bit, and the world has changed a little bit, and now there's actual careers in video games. If you want to be a developer, if you want to be a streamer, if you want to be a gamer, a QA tester, whatever, it's a real career. You're not just wasting your fucking time.
And it's a huge industry with huge potential, and it's, I guess, parents of today are starting to become privy to it.
Yeah.
But you can understand where parents come from.
Of course.
You can understand their concerns and their fears. Totally get it. But back to, why are you the way that you are? There's no way of knowing.
Yeah.
We can pontificate
Exactly.
and say, oh, my parents were kind of like this, or because my siblings were like that, I became like this. We never know. You can read a bunch of stuff, bunch of psychology.
Yeah.
All that we know is that we are the way we are. Yeah. And did we intrinsically choose it? Was it chosen for us? Like by some mystical forces? We don't.
It's like, I think that we are put everyone around us, parents and best friends, into a blender and blend it out and pour it in a glass, add some ice. That's us.
And there's no way of knowing.
So I see a little bit of my friends and my parents and my family in me, and the choices I make and the things I do and what I like and my hobbies. But I'm also my own person.
Well, because that in itself is a specific cocktail. And that specific cocktail of all those blends is you.
Yes.
And that is 100% you, original. Mm-hmm. And so the reason you are the way you are, regardless of that, just means that you are the way you are.
Yeah.
And you like to push boundaries, and you like to hump lamps naked.
Yeah.
And some people who are accountants, who live down the street from their parents, who are accountants,
they might like to hump lamps naked too, but they might be afraid to let the people around them know that they're lamp humpers.
Maybe, but maybe you couldn't. Maybe there was not enough satisfaction following law, for example, following that route. And they were perfectly fine following the route that they were on.
Yeah.
Right. And
But
so
it's different worlds that we lived in. You know, that was like post-Holocaust. If we don't work, we're going to lose our lives and our livelihood, and we're going to be homeless. They had totally different pressures and anxieties than we have today. Like, we're not really in the real world. Everyone's like, oh, the pandemic, it's the worst thing to ever happen in existence. No, it isn't. So many worse things have happened to our parents' generations, to our grandparents' generations. We're just the narcissistic selfie generation that doesn't read history books and doesn't realize that this honestly isn't that fucking bad. It's bad by today's standards, but in a bigger landscape, dude, this will be done in a year, whatever.
And there's way worse shit happening currently
Yes.
that is not talked about because
Not enough. No.
because that
not enough.
doesn't, I don't know, push politics one side or the other. Like, because this whole pandemic has been very politically divisive. Once again, it's become binary.
Yes.
You're either this side or you're that side.
Yeah.
Oh, you wear a mask.
And that's just North America. That's not even what's going on in the east side of the world, which is also fucking crazy. But we're like I said, we're the narcissistic generation of the technological mother, and we care about how many likes we get and not what's actually happening in the fucking world. Unfortunately to say, but to me, that's the
But to
real
someone
spin on
who
it.
is never going to interact with that world, does it even matter?
It should, because we're all one, and that affects this, and this affects that. And until we realize that we're in a global neighborhood, and what's happening in Russia and in Armenia, those are our neighbors. As soon as aliens come, which they're fucking coming, sooner or later, we're going to realize we're really all in this together, and we're Earthlings, and not Canadians or Americans. We're Earthlings, and this is about intergalactic war.
And so, what if the pandemic was a test to see how everyone can adopt the same protocol throughout the entire planet?
Yeah, but I would love that, but no one is passing the test right now. Everyone is failing miserably.
Well, that's what that's what phase one
Except
is.
for Sweden, but
Yeah, I have no idea.
yeah.
I know the way that I see the whole thing is I like to think of the Middle Ages where there's a castle and then there's a fence, a huge stone fence, and then outside there are the peasants in the market. We are the peasants in the market.
We're the chorus.
Yeah. We are the chorus.
You know?
The peasants are working.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out what's going on in the castle.
Yeah, Can someone come out and tell us, please?
And they're not going to tell us.
Yeah, they're not coming.
No, they're not coming. So we can create whatever scenario we think is happening. We can imagine what we think, but at the end of the day, no one really knows anything.
I hate people who think they do, because they're just
That's
self-dignification. Right?
that's saying you're a real idiot.
yeah.
It is saying, oh no, I know exactly what's going on. I watched this conspiracy video and I know everything now.
Yeah.
No, you don't know anything.
No one knows anything. We just pretend to know things.
The only reason that conspiracy is catching steam is because the algorithm, a lot of people like to watch it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
Clickbait.
everything's clickbait.
Everything's clickbait.
Everything's clickbait. So that's why it's like, how can we boil things down to a point where we're just like as good as possible, right? How can you live a day and be like happy, share some joy, encourage someone around you, and that just spreads? Because the world is so complex and there's so many pieces and there's so many this and that we can never, even the people.
So many masks, right? Everything wears a mask now. I'm not talking about a face mask, but I'm talking about like a spin on a fact to make it something else.
Yeah, and that's I guess media, right? That's news. That's
it's not the truth. It's
identity.
They're all deceptions, right?
Yeah. But for the most part, if we live off screen a little bit and you go out in the real world, you can spread joy.
Yeah.
You know, you can do your comedy show. Or you could say something nice to the coffee person.
I haven't done a comedy show in like 8 months, and I don't know if I'm funny anymore.
Oh, you're funny.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
right out of the gate, you were funny.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, phew.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Do I?
Yeah, you have me on my toes.
On your toes. That's not where I want you. Zing.
Oh, see what I mean? See what I mean?
That's bad.
But this whole conversation started. Oh, it's 45 minutes. What did you say you were going to do at 45
Oh, I
minutes?
said I was going to take my hat off and look like a crazy person.
Okay.
New look. I guess if you're listening, you can't see it, but if you could watch, hey,
Yeah,
guys.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, why someone is the way they are doesn't matter. The fact is they are the way they are. And how can we, as observers rather than reactors, make the best of the given situation? And that's my view on how to roll.
I feel, I agree with you, but ultimately the most we can do is try our best to educate them in a very civil manner and hope that they are receptive to whatever signals we're sending them. But a lot of people will literally rip their antennas off before they receive any outside signals.
But why would we need to educate, when we know we don't know? We could just lead by example in the way that we think.
So all I know is that I don't know nothing, to quote Tim Armstrong. But, I know the world isn't flat, but that doesn't mean other people believe that the world is flat. And it's stuff like that scares me, because that's so objective that, you go out into space, you look down at Earth, it looks like a marble, to go back to marbles.
Nice.
So I don't understand how people could be flat earthers, but they exist and they're out there.
I'd say it's,
or people who are like, oh, I don't need to do this because Jesus is just going to come down and save the world. That's not going to happen. How could you believe that?
But what if it allows them, like what if the flat earthers have a community?
They do.
And they're not causing really any harm. They're entertaining each other. They really don't react with the mainstream world.
No, not at all.
They make videos. They have fun. And they're not really causing any harm. They're connecting with each other. They're having a good time. They are the socks that disappear, or the guitar picks that disappear in the couch. They just live on their own and they're not hurting anyone.
I wonder, like, if I was a flat earther and I went into somebody's office who had like a...
You look like a flat earther right now.
Those bars that, like, it's a globe that you open up with the liquor in it?
Yeah.
I would be so mad at seeing those globe bars. I'd be like, that's a fucking lie. And I'd probably kick them all.
I don't think it's about the flat earth. They don't even know that. But it's about everything around the flat earth. They're part of an exclusive club. It's us against them. They're not fucking blowing up buildings.
No.
The person who thinks that if Jesus is going to save them,
they're not a group to fear. You just don't want them teaching your kids in high school.
Sure,
right,
sure, and that's fair. And someone who believes that like the Lord will save them, they're not hurting anyone either.
No,
So if they can have a belief system, because all we are
dust in the wind.
Dust in the wind, synapses forming. Our belief system is really just a bunch of, connections happening in our brain that make us feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. So if we can see that if you can feel something or tell yourself a story that helps you get through the day in a productive manner, that has more pros than cons, despite what the vessel of what you're saying is, because we're so much more than the words we speak.
Yeah.
Then you just, it's like, yeah, cool. Like, flat earther, come on, I want to hear you. Let's talk. Let's fucking talk about it. I'm sure we have something in common.
Yeah.
And
for sure we do.
So it just removes a lot of weight, because trying to
everyone has everything in common.
Everything.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
Exactly. And all we really want to do is connect and say, lend an ear, and just realize that we don't know everything. We can be, look, I don't know if we're going to find out the earth is flat, but imagine, like,
that would be crazy.
I would love to, I would, like, have you heard the...
Fauci's going to tell us that the earth is flat.
The inner earth theory.
That the earth is a Mars bar? Inner earth is a Mars bar? You get to the middle and there's a Mars bar with a layer of caramel and a crunch?
No, not that one.
Okay.
The one where there's Admiral Richard Byrd, like, went into the earth, and it's like the hollow earth.
Into the core, and it's hollow.
And there's like a civilization, like a far superior civilization
I would
in there.
believe it.
Like, I would love to believe it too.
Yeah.
Have I seen it? No.
No.
Do I think it's awesome? Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
But some people watch that stuff, and because they watched it, they're like, most people haven't seen this. Even though this video has 16 million views.
Idiots. There's a whole race of superhumans at the core of the earth.
Yeah, they don't know, and they're just using us like batteries.
Yeah.
Like the Matrix.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, are we not just batteries that are...
Yeah.
I say this almost in every podcast, but if you're watching the human civilization evolve and you're watching it like, I don't know, 200 years at a time, if you look at what we've done, we've built cities and connected grids and communications and then cable and all this, and lights start appearing. And what we're really doing is like, we're building the matrix. It's like the earth was a brain that had no synapses, and we're creating those connections with everything we do, all of our consumption, all of our roads, roads, communication, internet, all that stuff is just connecting everything so that we're the Neanderthals, and the Homo sapiens that's coming next, the AI or the cyborg race that is the hybrid, is just going to use what we built to
become that,
to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's all. Isn't that all we're really doing, is just connecting shit?
So they're saying that the future might be robots with human brain chips, and that we will eventually transfer our consciousness into robots that will live forever and that will run Earth.
And it's kind of already happening.
Yeah, it's like Terminator almost.
Yeah,
We're almost there. There's a lot of companies doing artificial intelligent research and building robotics using artificial intelligence that's out there. If you look at the stock market, there are so many companies that do that, which is scary.
It's scary, but if you look at the way evolution goes and the way cells emerged and then like disconnected themselves, then merged again and create other bodies and other species and other things, we're just the thing that created the next one. We're just the next step.
Yeah, we're just another brick in the wall.
We're just another brick in the wall for the thing that's coming next. Mm-hmm. It's inevitable. There's been no species that stopped after. Like there's no last species. There's always something emerging. And we've built the internet, and we've built, like, the internet was created, and then all these things started coming on top. Like, and then the biggest companies in the world that rule everything were built on the platform of the internet that was created in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And now all those major companies created all these crazy networks and circuits and all these things that learned the data of the people. So they know our behavior better than we do.
Oh, yeah.
So they can just use us as a resource, literal human.
Yeah, we're becoming the lab rats.
Human resource, just to propel, I guess, things forward. And a lot of people, I guess it's the popular belief that it's pure evil and it's the internet billionaires who want to control everything. But I'd say in terms of like consciousness and the algorithm that started evolution in the first place, we're just continuing, we're just passing the baton. We're doing the exact same thing that's always been done. Because we like to think of ourselves as like the Earth and the human race in 2020 sees the planet as human-centric, where before it was like God-centric. Now it's human-centric. But soon we're going to...
Squirrel-centric.
I would like that.
Yeah,
I would like that.
Something.
Because we think that we operate differently than animals, when in fact, like 95% of everything we do is subconscious in nature and totally out of our control.
Yeah.
That's why we can all watch ourselves do stupid shit like a train wreck, and we can't do anything about it. Why is that? It's because this subconscious mind right here is the operating system, and that little thing is our head.
Also, by the way, that symbol, you should have a guitar made to look like that symbol, because that's the body of a guitar when you look at it.
Yeah,
it sort of looks like a flying V, right?
Yeah, it's a flying V.
But with the circles, it's like a flying V mixed with a Prince thing. But whatever it is, you got to have a guitar made to look like that.
But all that to say is the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, subconscious is the beast that runs the show. Mm-hmm. And we think that we're so in control of what we do. When we're so easy to manipulate, we are the sheep that are so easily herded. It's so easy now that the algorithms based on what we like or don't like or swipe through or don't swipe through or who we DM or when we DM, they know the
habit of us.
Yeah, better than we know the habit of us. We think that we're doing everything offhand and it's all free choice. It's really not.
Yeah, it's data for the machines that are coming, and they're watching us now.
Yeah.
They're listening to us right now, and like this camera's filming and this mic is recording, but there's some motherboard out there that's observing us and taking notes on our behavior. And when the time comes, they'll know exactly what to do to crush us like ants,
Yeah, but I don't know if the goal is to crush us,
or to enslave us and have us work for their goals.
but we're all working anyway. We have no choice.
Yeah,
And
we have no choice.
Well, if we don't work, first of all, we feel like shit about ourselves. It's like It's like whoever programmed this slave race called the human being,
Yeah,
made it feel shitty when not working.
yeah,
It's like I work, I do this podcast, I want to make music. You do what you do because it feels good.
yeah.
So imagine you could program people to work for you, to push data to the algorithm, and it feels good. Nothing's going to change. It's actually, there's more output from us, the better it feels. So
We just want to be a contributing member of society, and that's
what we are.
what we get off on. And when you don't contribute, you're like, I am unproductive and I'm a lazy slob and I have to work towards something.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
right now there's nothing going on.
exactly. But I would tell that person that you are contributing. By streaming and watching TV,
Yeah,
you are feeding the evolution algorithm,
exactly.
and you are helping the companies understand, or the algorithm understand, how we function, and that vital information can perhaps help the human race.
Do you know what neaters are? A neat?
No.
It's like this 4chan term. It's an internet term for people who are unemployed, not working, and live in their parents' basement and are content with that.
Wow.
And there's a whole lot of people doing that. If you're on Reddit, if you're on 4chan, there's so many fucking people doing that. And I'm sort of a neater. I'm sort of neat, but there's no reason to be upset at unproductivity because you are still part of the system. You're still the viewer is an important part.
Absolutely. And there's a contribution factor.
Yeah,
the more neaters there are, the lower the internet price per person, right? Because just like porn was the thing that brought the internet cost per person down, because so many people were using the internet for porn that it reduced the cost of the internet as a whole, because so many people could use it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the more people use a commodity, the lower the price per person.
Exactly.
And
everyone's using it for that.
everyone, like, I think
Even grandma.
Yeah.
Even grandma.
Yeah. Squirty grams.
Do you know what your grandma researches on Pornhub?
Yes.
What's that?
She's into Turkish Christmas carolers.
That's my grandma is into.
It's pretty niche.
Is into step grandson.
No shit. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Step grandson.
But she spends her time on YouTube watching Greek shows. She is contributing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, what if, because I always like to put a positive spin on this. What if the algorithm is just going to learn how we function so that it can actually help us? What if it's able to understand our behavior, or understand to make us, let's say, make healthier choices, or do all these things that will reduce our sickness levels and reduce our anxiety and all these things, purely by funneling us in a certain direction? Like, who knows? That could be, right? Because let's say output of the person is the highest level metric that they're looking for. And they've realized that the more free someone is, the more the ecosystem thrives.
Yes.
The less control we have, the more we actually get what we want, right? The free market, like capitalism versus communism.
With a hint of socialism.
Sure.
Right.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, exactly. And that's what the pandemic brought out in everybody. It's everybody's online. Everyone is part of this whole digital system right now. And everyone is 2 clicks away from buying what they want off of an e-commerce website. Yeah. 2 clicks away.
And so the buying is more so showing I call it like the global algorithm, or the fifth dimension cloud that's learning everything.
Yeah.
Because that's how I visualize how, it's the only way I know, because I'm not a scientist, how to visualize how evolution happens. How does one thing become the other? How does this thing develop horns? Well, it's like, the way I visualize it is all the animals and species or whatever are uploading all their data. And then that thing is processing the data. And it's like, well, maybe if we run a little test and throw a fucking horn on this thing, let's see how it survives. It's like, whoa, this frog with the horn fucking,
Yeah.
he fucking reproduced like mad.
I wish there was more evolutionary human experimentation going on right now. And like, by that, I mean, like, if we, you can't really do this because you're basically, to test evolution on human experiments.
That's like Nazi stuff, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't go towards like killing and murder and crazy shit, but you would have to have generations of a family be there for the experiment. So this would be like hundreds of years. But like, let's say we took a family and had them living on a swamp, okay? Half in the water, half on land. How many generations would it take for them to develop webbed feet or gills or things that would make them quicker swimmers? I don't know, but I would like to know that. But I think that's a horrible experiment to do because you would have to take a family and put them there for hundreds of years.
So I love the concept.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would be cruel.
Yeah, horrible.
It would
Horrible.
It would be cruel, and that is the upside to the horrible atrocities committed in World War II by the Nazis and the Japanese, is that it sped up our understanding of science and humans and all that shit by like hundreds of years. Because in no other pocket of civilization could that fucking shit ever fly.
No. And that's too good of an experiment. That like they would look at the evolution experiment and be like, we don't want to know that shit. We want to know at what boiling point do you lose consciousness and bubble.
Yeah, so that's like fucked up, and I guess they got off on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what if, we see different pockets of the world that live in different environments and different social classes and economic classes? What if that's the experiment that's being run right now? What if that's why not everything is even? What if there's a greater purpose, right? Because we have, in the wise words of Elon Musk, humans have limited bandwidth.
Elon.
Did you get that from Moonbase 8?
Yeah, you watched it.
Fucking right, dude.
Great. All of it? You're finished the series?
I'm finished the series.
Sweet.
That was a great show.
I loved it.
John C. Reilly is one of my favorite people on the planet.
He's great in it. Tim Heidecker is also one of the best.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the other guy,
Fred Armisen.
He always makes you feel uneasy.
He's hilarious.
I love it. I absolutely love the show. Elon. What is it? Elon?
Elon.
Yeah. So Elon says that we have limited bandwidth, and we do. And I think that's why the mainstream is relegated to a binary opinion, is because we don't have the capacity to compute enough data to see a broader spectrum and to understand the gray zones. So it's just easier to say, well, that guy I like, and I'm on his team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't have enough inputs.
But we do that model with everything in life. It's binary the whole way through. With exceptions.
Well, because it's just easier because we don't have the resources.
Because it's just easier, exactly. Or because it's easier to understand when it's two choices instead of multiple choices.
Exactly.
It's too complex and complicated, and the average person, their head would hurt.
But I would say that there's a lot of people, more than we would think, who think the way we do. And even though we have a binary preference, we understand the reason for that binary preference. We understand that it's just simpler to look at things like that, and we can't possibly look at all the data and assimilate all of it to create the true opinion. It's impossible. Yeah. So what do? You pretty much go with the opinion of someone that resonates with you and you feel comfortable with, and you trust them. And that's why we trust in people. That's why I like Rogan, I guess. Yeah. That's why Tom DeLonge resonated with me.
Yeah, I can't believe that guy fucks dogs.
Look, everyone is entitled to their own opinions and sexual preferences.
In that 2-year span, I think the two best love songs to rock music were written, which was Everlong by Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, and I Want to Fuck a Dog in the Ass by Tom DeLonge and Blink-182.
Yeah.
Every man has his own choice, preference, and I back Tom. I don't understand it, but if that's what he wants to do, I'm okay with it.
And he's a huge proponent of, if the dog is having a good time,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And so at least it's all what's the word? Like it's all consensual.
Hunky gravy.
Yeah, hunky gravy. I like his post with the dogs in the cars. It's following me.
I just think it's so funny when he posts something like important and political and trying to like
He gets shit on.
and everyone in the comments is like, you fuck dogs, you fuck dogs. And then he has to like explain to like ministers of the UK why his fans write that shit.
Does he have to explain?
Because they follow him on Instagram and he's spoken about it. He's like, they all see the comments that the fans drop on the like.
Well, he birthed that beast.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was his competitive advantage in the 90s.
My God, man.
His dog fucking.
Dog fucking.
Dog.
Yeah.
Look, Tom
Among
DeLonge does not actually fuck dogs. He just likes to say crude shit to get a...
Imagine the shit that would come out on him if he ran for president. Imagine like a week before the election, like someone slips a CNN reporter, I want to fuck a dog in the ass. And they're like, this is the man you're voting for.
And how many people would take it at face value and say, "Oh, this man's a dog fucker," and they protest.
So many,
and that's so many. Let's say it's 1 million people protest. What's 1 million out of the 300 million in the States? It's a small percentage.
Yeah, but then the snowball effect happens, and that million,
and then it adds to the binary narrative of whatever the fuck's going on, and it just shows you how absurd it all is. Like this, it's not a really good system for truth because it's like innately stupid. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is an artist and he said this for shock value and it's funny and it's this and that, but it's like one-on-one you can have a deep conversation with someone and explain things.
Yeah.
But to explain to 300 million people at the same time, it's like the level of communication you have can be no longer than 1 second.
And because it's so short, there's no time to contextualize it. So it's just a quote saying he said that. It's not like, okay, there was 6 joke songs on this album and this year, and when he was on tour, he would make these jokes, and it was an act. It was funny. It's just a quote. I want to fuck a dog in the ass, said by this person. Are you in or are you out? Most people are going to be like, I'm out.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. I love my dog. And then PETA gets involved and it's all fucked up. And they know it's stupid, but their stock value will go up.
I wish if PETA got involved when that happened. That would be so funny.
Imagine they were like, no, it's okay with him.
Do you think that song affected the people fucking dogs in America?
0%.
0%?
Yeah, because I don't think there was any crossover demographics. He was talking to high school kids who'd like to say shit jokes.
Okay.
He was talking to us.
I took it literally.
And I don't think PETA really cares about us.
No.
Or dog fuckers.
One time PETA...
real dog fuckers, I don't think listen to Blink-182.
No.
What do you think they listen to?
They listen to, like...
now we're like...
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, I know.
But they listen to, like... I
was going to say the theme song to King of the Hill.
Oh, King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Close.
But, like, now we're being racist and because we're not.
No, we're not.
But that's the beauty of long-form content. And that's the beauty of content that no one listens to, is that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But that's why.
Do you think there's like race wars with aliens? Do you think they're like, well, I'm a small green. I hate those tall grays. I get the tall gray out of my house.
Well, if they're based on our algorithm, then yeah.
Yeah.
I guess because it's all territorial. Not. Because we're binary and we're them against us, and like I think even racism is a microbial thing. Mm-hmm. It's because we have trillions of bacterial cells on our bodies that science is starting to show rule our subconscious mind and our motivations and all these things. That's why a dog knows when to eat at 5:00. The dog has no sense of time, but its body clock is actually this ecosystem, this civilization of trillions of bacterial cells that are like a factory and a civilization that are waiting for that to come in, like they're waiting for the sun to go up. And they signal to the brain, start barking, start asking for the food, because we got all these employees who are ready to fucking eat and they got to go and we got to get this thing going. We are no different. Like we're the same as every other animal. We are a construct of trillions of organisms. And that's why sometimes when you meet someone that's completely different than you, maybe you have like this weird feeling. You say, I have a gut feeling that they're off. I don't know if they're off. I think it's just they're microbially different.
Yeah, also, like, as I got older, I remember in high school, and maybe a little after that, I was so judgmental. I'm like, oh, that guy's weird. He thinks different. I don't know if I could be friends with that guy. But now as an adult, I'm like, oh, that guy is fucking cool, and saw things differently that us mass-produced students didn't see. Like, that guy was enlightened and woke to a degree, and I was I was wrong to like be like, no, I don't want that. I think as an adult, you want that. You want to share experiences with people who do things and think differently, so you could understand
Exactly.
a little differently.
Yeah, and you can question your thoughts rather than take them at face value, right? Like your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, and whatever comes in right off the bat, instead of just blindly reacting to it. Like I said earlier, we want to be the observer rather than the reactor. Because if you're just purely reacting, you're no different than a fucking dog,
Yeah.
right? But if you are able to say, oh, I'm feeling this, why is that? Oh, is it because we have a different biodiversity? Is it because perhaps he has a different way of seeing things? You know, there's a bunch of things, and once they start coming together and you start discussing, then I visualize it as like the microbes start coming together and they start having micro conversations. They start finding things in common and they start homogenizing. And then you can see that your inclination, which was a defense mechanism to keep you safe from the unknown, has now passed the test, and now you're able to have that conversation. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Very cool.
Did you go to Dawson?
No.
Okay, so yeah, you did. I know where you went. But there was like always downstairs going in, there was like a group of like heavy metal goths.
Sick.
And everyone was like, oh, that's the goth group. Let's just go up the escalator and not look at them in the eyes. And then like towards the end of Dawson, I started talking to the goth people, and they're the fucking coolest ones. They're like, we hang here because everyone else is a fucking, you know, they're closed-minded.
Yeah.
It's perspective.
It's perspective, and that's why these things form. Like, within a country, there are multiple small niches of people who hang with each other. It's like it's intrinsically human to find your crew.
Yeah.
Like we all have a crew. Like you have a crew, I have a crew. The country perhaps is a crew.
I like your crew. You got a good crew.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It's a very small crew. Small, good crew.
You got some artists in there?
Yes. Yeah. Artists, you know, business kind of people.
Business people, gamers.
Yeah.
They all like movies.
They all like movies.
They all like movies.
Is that the core? Is that the...
It's good to like movies.
Yeah. Is that why we connect? We like music and Blink-182?
We connected because we like taking showers together.
Yeah, but
that's because you have good body wash. And I was like, I smelt you one day. This is a true story. I smelt Mick one day, and I was like, what the fuck? Is this herbal essences? Is this Neutrogena?
It's organic.
And you were like, come on, come with me to the shower and I'll show you. And you did, and now I buy that product and I love it, and I smell the same as you. And
yeah, like I remember I took you in the shower. I said, look, don't worry. This is we're Greek. This is how we do it.
Yeah, you were like, Adam, we're not taking a shower. Put your clothes back on. And I'm like, no, we're going full send on this.
And we did full send.
And we did full send.
It was something I'll never forget.
Yeah. We're friends. We can do that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
It wasn't romantic or sexual. It was just like, this is what we do.
No, and I come from a sales background, and the only way to really truly sell a product is to show a real life demonstration of how this works, of how it functions, and the way that I would use it. And I would show you, and I showed you how you used it.
Yeah, you're like, this is how you rub it on your nipples.
Yeah, and this is how you get the full scent out. Because if you just do a quick, it's not gonna. You're not gonna get that exfoliation because
before I never loofah'd.
Look, I take pride in what I do, and it just goes to show the power of the demonstration.
Yeah. That's the tip of the iceberg. Is this?
Yeah, but
You've taught me so much more.
But then we realized that music and movies is something we had in common.
Yeah,
which
and a knack to create, right?
Yeah, and just do stuff because we have ideas. We like to go on tangents. We're similar in that, you and I. I need to create stuff. I'm always I want to do this. I want to do this. Have I figured out completely how to do?
You're good. You're good at not only at it creating but executing. Executing, like I have so many ideas, but a lot I execute here and there, but a lot of my ideas are just like half baked in the oven, and I'll revisit them a little while. Like I have a notebook with so much shit.
Okay.
And I never finish. I just go on to the next. Here and there I finish, and I try to because that's you want to finish, but I find it difficult because my brain just has so many things popping in.
Yeah.
That it's not that I get distracted, it's that like I have to write this down now. Otherwise, I know I'm going to forget it. And then once I write it down, I start to develop it. And then the thing before that goes on the back burner. And that's the cycle. That's my cycle.
I totally understand. I can totally relate to that. And the only way I've been able to circumvent that, like music production, for example, just having an idea that I'm strumming away in a couple of melodies to completion of it, is the collaboration factor. If I
other people rely on you,
and
right?
I rely on
And
other
you
people.
Rely on other people.
That's the only way, because maybe it's because I don't respect myself enough. But if I'm working with someone, I want to bring all of my capacities to them and give them everything that I have. And we make a deal and we make the thing that we want to make. And it's like equal collaboration. It's never like, you do this, because that just makes a shit product.
Yeah.
But working with people, like if I want,
no one wants to work with someone who's like, go do this now.
No.
No one wants that. That's like, what the fuck?
But collaboration is the key, because if you're an idea generator, then it's about connecting, I guess, with someone who together you can hold each other accountable and finish the product. Like with a producer, I pay for the song. So the song is going to get done. It's like a fail safe. I'll never go work with a producer and the song will be hanging on for 8 months. That doesn't happen.
No. But also the producer's like, I want to get this done immediately so I could go to
the next
thing. Or
yeah.
the next
And so
client.
that works out for me.
It's the best interest for everybody.
Exactly. Exactly. And so collaborators just make things happen.
Yeah.
Or like this podcast. If I say I'm going to put one out once a week,
now you're putting a fire under your ass to get it done, so it's going to get done.
Exactly, because I don't want to publicly embarrass myself.
Yeah, I find deadlines, because I don't give myself deadlines. Like, I don't do that to myself. But when other people give me deadlines,
you respect them.
Of course, you got to get it done. And even if it means cramming for 3 nights before the deadline, you get it done.
Who doesn't do that realistically?
I love that. I love that. I find some of the best stuff happens last minute when you're cramming. Same
as me.
Yeah.
It's when I was in school, whether it's lyrics to a song, and I have to go to the studio and I don't have a verse. That's all I'm thinking about for the few days before that. And something comes together. And if it doesn't, I have enough faith in myself to say that in studio, something magic will happen.
Yeah. Or you half-ass it and then listen to it and you're like, okay, now let's full-ass it, because there's something in this what I put out that I didn't like yesterday. And now we can build off that and develop it.
But a deadline is... If you can hold yourself accountable to a deadline.
That's what they're there for. Especially, I know, working deadlines, like, I don't want to get fired. I got to hit the deadlines.
Yeah.
You know?
Negative reinforcement never hurts.
No.
It's a very positive thing. And intrinsically, if our livelihood is not is not on the line, we're not going to get things done. So we have to put ourselves in situations where not hitting the deadline will be detrimental to us.
It will. It is.
And so, like, you see, like, we have to punish ourselves. So a deadline is essentially like embarrassment or disappointment or losing your job. But it's the only thing that'll fucking make you do it. Because if it's open-ended and there's no consequences, humans need consequences.
I agree. And bringing this back up to stand-up, it's like my deadline is when I hit the stage. I got to be ready for when I hit the stage. But now in this pandemic world, I haven't hit a stage in 8 months. And I'm just like writing shit down, and they're just getting lost because I'm not able to go up and work on them and develop them. Because you could develop shit on paper, but the real development of jokes happens live on stage when you're taking mental observations of how an audience is reacting to what you're saying and the delivery of it. And
that must be a scary thing.
It was the first few times it was very scary. The first time I went on stage, my shirt was drenched after. I was sweating. I was nervous. I was shaking. I couldn't hold the mic straight. No one picked up on it in the audience, and all my friends and everyone was there. They were laughing. I recorded it. It was a decent performance. It wasn't like I went out and bombed the first time. It was like the room was laughing. But me inside, I was so fucking nervous. My heart was beating, and I had to change my shirt because it was as though, you know, when you have like take Tylenol and you have the flu and you wake up with a night sweat and your shirt is stuck to you.
Yes.
That's after my 5 minutes. That's what my shirt was. And I'm not exaggerating. It was disgusting.
But good for you for doing that, because that takes balls, man. That separates the
it was tough.
The boys from the men.
It was tough. And I've been on camera and I've been funny for 10 years, but stand up was a whole different thing. It felt so different.
It is. I can't compare to stand up. I can compare it to like playing live.
I'm sure it's the
a
same
completely
feeling
different
before you hit
energy.
the stage. You're like, you're nervous before you hit the stage, no matter where you're going up.
Yeah, because in studio, it's a controlled environment. I can do takes on takes on takes.
Exactly, yeah.
I know I don't have to hit everything out of the park. It doesn't matter. In rehearsal, it's the same thing. Rehearsal, there's a little more cards on the table, but live, it's like your headspace completely changes. It's like a fear zone. It's like a fight or flight. It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it's like you can only rely on your muscle memory almost,
But
because your whole cognitive.
But you can't depend on it. You could rely on it, but you can't depend on it because the variable is the audience. And if you have a bad audience or an audience that doesn't laugh at something you know that's really funny, you're like, that's really funny. Why isn't it working? And then that trickles into the rest of your set. And I haven't bombed, but I've had one or two bad
off nights
that weren't horrible. I wasn't bombing, but I was like, I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's part of it.
And I guess at the beginning you can rely on your muscle memory, but as you become resistant to that feeling of the unknown and that feeling of being in the present moment, then you can start to read the room, and you're operating at a less stressed, perhaps you're more zen with the process, and you can gauge the crowd and you can react in real time.
I will, based on crowd reaction, I will say, okay, this joke is going to work tonight, so I'm going to put this in. Or I'm going to be like, okay, this is an edgy joke. I don't think this is the crowd for it. I'm going to take that out. Because otherwise,
it's like an 8-year-old's birthday party.
Are going to hate me. Yeah, 8-year-old's birthday party where I'm just trying to bang the mom on stage and the dad.
Well, that's only fair.
And yeah, whatever.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But a lot of comedians, unless they're in Texas, they are feeling the same thing you're feeling.
Yeah.
They're not getting out there. And especially since you had started, how long were you doing it before the pandemic started?
I was doing it, I think, a year and a half.
Okay.
I think my first show was 2 summers ago. Were you there? Yeah, you were there. You were there.
I was there.
Yeah, you were at my first stand-up show. It was the show Tyler put on at Lowick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
Happy to have been there.
Yeah, that was my first set. That was my very first set.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So much has happened.
And in that year and a half, I probably went up about 50 plus times.
Holy shit.
Yeah, there was some nights, it was me and Tyler started at one comedy club, and then by the end of the night, we had gone up in 4 different comedy clubs. So we were doing 4 sets in a night, here and there, not consistently, but the option was always there, and sometimes we'd be like, yeah, let's fucking just keep going, because we did it. And doing 4 shows in a night, by the 4th show, you're mad at your set. You don't want to do the same set over and over and over again. I remember the 4th time I went on, it was at McGibbon's, and I was like, you know what, fuck my act, and I'm just gonna riff and do whatever the hell I want to do. And I was a little drunk at that point, and it's just different, but it's still fun. If you throw your set out the window, you're doing crowd work and just going with the energy.
And how'd that go for you?
I remember there was a guy wearing like a plaid shirt at the bar, and I just started like talking to him like he's Eddie Vedder. And it could go either way, but he was like, yeah, man, Pearl Jam. And it was good.
All right.
Yeah.
But 50 shows, and even 4 a night on set 3.
Yeah.
How had your set improved from set 1?
Set 1 to 2, there's improvement. Set 3 is good. Set 3 is good, but as the person doing the same shtick on the 3rd time, you're sort of already over it. You're like, okay, it might be fun for them, but it's not fun for me because you feel like you're just reading off of a paper and regurgitating the same shit you said 2 other times within the past 2 hours. And then set 4, you're sort of like, okay, I had my good sets. I polished what I needed to polish. I know what's funny and what works. Now we're just going to go off the rails and see what happens.
Yeah. And were there any nuggets that you, in that going off the rails, that you were able to put into a future act?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
That's when you start experimenting, because I wasn't really a crowd work kind of guy. And that's where you start experimenting with crowd work. I'm the kind of guy who goes to write jokes. I write it down on a Microsoft Word or notes or on a paper, and then I bring it over to I like going paper and then bringing it from paper to digital. And in that, like retyping your stuff, that's where you're like, oh, this is funny. Here's another idea for that. Oh, this is funny. Here's another idea for that. this was funny when I conceived it, but now I sort of don't agree with it. I don't like the message it sends. There's something about it that I don't like. Trash can.
You, for some reason, you just reminded me of, I don't know if you watched the Norm show.
Which one?
The one with his sidekick.
Adam Egget.
Yeah.
I thought, because to me, the Norm Show is a sitcom from.
Oh, yeah,
year
yeah.
2000.
So not that, the Norm MacDonald podcast or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And because I was just listening, and you were talking about Microsoft Word, and I was going to ask, like, how long is like a typical joke? Like, is it a paragraph? Is it some bullet points?
It could
Like,
be,
how does that look?
It could be a story, or it could be a one-liner.
Okay.
My friend Tyler is a one-liner guy. He kills it. He's really good at one-liners.
Like the Tyler that I know?
I've seen Tyler Lemko at Tyler Lemko.
He's going to be a guest on the show.
I actually called him right before this, and I was like, I'm going to be in your area if you want to hang out after. He told me to call him after the show.
Sweet.
He's like, what are you guys going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know. There's no pre-interview. We're just going to go. And he's like, nice.
Yeah,
Sounds about right. That's
the
how
way
you do it.
Yeah.
But Tyler, with one-liners, he could deliver a joke in like 8 seconds and on to the next one. I like to have one-liners, little stories, and long stories. And the long stories are good for killing time because you could tell a long story and still make it funny. And people want to like hear a story. They want to engage with a story and focus their attention on what you're saying.
Totally.
But one-liners are good. Like you just throw them in there. You could throw them in there at any time.
So where I was going with that is that Norm always makes Adam Egget.
Ask the dumbest fucking questions.
Well, it's always the same one.
Where do you get your ideas?
Yeah. And I'm just thinking of Norm who shits himself every time he has to make Adam ask that
Did you see him ask Letterman that question?
What did Letterman say? I saw that episode.
Letterman was like, he started laughing, and he's like, "You guys got me."
It broke him?
I wonder if Norm is like, "Okay, Adam," because Adam is
He's a like comedy store manager or something, right?
There's a new documentary called The Comedy Store on Showtime. You should watch it. It's 4 episodes. It's amazing.
All right,
it's really,
I will
really
watch
good.
It. I love stand-up comedy.
And he's a part of it, and you see the whole process of
because he's like a serious, like successful guy, right?
Yeah, but like that show makes him look like the biggest idiot dumbass in the world. So I wonder if Norm's like, this is the part you're gonna play, or they just I don't know what it is. And I've also met Adam Egget because he comes here for laughs all the time.
Okay.
He always is wearing like a jean jacket Clash thing. It's very rockabilly. He's a hilarious dude.
Oh yeah, he's got kind of that slick back hair look, sideburns.
He's always repping like the Clash and Blondie and.
Okay, so he's like an '80s new wave guy.
Exactly. That's exactly who he is. And if you follow him on Instagram, you'll see all he does is post '80s music.
Okay, well he's got a brand.
Yeah,
that's his thing. And so, how is he in person versus on that show?
So that show, I didn't know anything about Adam Egget before I saw the Norm show, and I almost didn't like him because the character he is on that show is not really likable, not really intelligent, doesn't add anything to the whole dynamic. He just takes away from it because every second he talks is a second Norm's not talking or a second his guest isn't talking.
Yeah,
and I love Norm. I always want to hear him talking. I love his guests for the most part. And he gets good interviews, and he talks about shit that you don't get on Jimmy Fallon.
Totally.
But yeah, Adam didn't really add anything for me, for the viewer of that show, and in real life he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy, yeah.
Because I figured maybe he's like booking the show. I'm sure he's doing something more than just being the village idiot.
He's probably a producer and a booker, and he runs the Comedy Store, so I'm sure he gets a lot of the talent from Norm's show from that.
Of course. And then Norm just has him on being a complete idiot.
Yeah, being the dumbest.
But it doesn't get old when he asks, where do you get your ideas from?
No, it's cringe. It's very cringy, but cringy is in.
Yeah, because it hits hard.
Yeah.
And especially since I think it's a self-aware audience. Like you're not going to get like a passive, typical cat-loving social media person to watch like a Norm interview.
No.
It's a very specific.
For people who like comedy.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that the people who watch it appreciate that stupid character that Adam plays.
Yeah.
Man, I can watch Norm.
You've met Norm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best.
Have you met Norm?
Multiple times.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
It was
helped,
it was so odd to meet him.
Yeah, I helped I think I helped write and produce a sketch that Rob Schneider did with Norm. And that was one of the highlights of my life for sure.
What was the sketch?
It's called The Gay Marriage Counselor.
Okay.
And I think it's online. And so the sketch is Rob is a marriage counselor and Norm is in a relationship with another male. And so the problem in their marriage that they're facing is every time I can't do Norm's voice right now, but every time he's like, every time I try to go to sleep, this guy, all he wants is to fuck me in the ass. And like, it's just that one note over and over again for 2 minutes. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
It's not the best, but it was like
No, it sounds great. You got to giggle out of me.
Experience.
Look, Norm saying anything is hilarious.
Yeah.
The guy's a machine.
Yeah.
And when I met him in person, it was just so odd because he's like kind of there, but not there. I don't know if you got this impression when you met him.
Oh, we were wasted. I've met him multiple times. He would recognize my face. I don't know if he would know my name, but he would know me.
Okay.
And a few of the times we're out of control.
Okay.
Yeah, out of control.
Okay, because he was. Look, he's like a hero of mine.
Me too. It's so surreal.
It is, and it's so weird because it's not like he's really playing an act on TV.
No.
If anything, on TV he's more composed.
I don't even think he's a great actor. It's just who he is, and that he is himself in most of the roles.
Yeah, he just plays Norm.
Yeah.
He might have a different name, but even in Dirty Work, wasn't his name Norm? No, or was it?
I think so.
No, I don't know if it was Norm. Well, whatever it was. I just love seeing the guy. The guy just brings me joy, and it's almost like
Mitch.
Mitch.
It's
Fuck.
Mitch.
Mitch. That's his name.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I love Norm MacDonald, and very cool that you got to meet him multiple times.
Yeah, you too. Once.
Just once.
I'm sure you'll get
Just
more.
once. I went to a comedy club because I wanted to hire him.
Hey, John, if you're listening, can you arrange a 2 p.m. with Mick, Adam, and Norm, okay?
Yeah. We went to a comedy show, and I wanted to get him to do a Galactic Federation. Like, I wanted him to be, I don't know if you're familiar with Star Trek at all,
Yeah.
but let's say when the big boss from the Federation calls Picard,
Okay.
and he comes up on the screen,
Yeah.
and he's wearing the outfit, and he's got the hat on, or not the hat, he's in this room, and it's on the TV. I wanted Norm to film something that would be the beginning of like the show, the beginning of the live show.
Nice.
So he'd be dressed like a Federation guy.
Just put him in front of a green screen and like have a 50% opacity, like you're talking to holographic.
Yeah,
It's
kind
a
of.
live holographic feed of
Yeah,
him.
pretty much like that. And so what he would say is something like, all right, listen. No, I can't do Norm either.
You can. It just takes testing,
Yeah.
right?
So it was essentially, he was talking about a mission where you're going to go to this place called Earth, and you're going to be born, because that's the only way to smuggle you in, is you're going to have to be born. And you're not going to know that you are on a mission. You're going to have to discover as you grow up on this planet Earth that you are on this mission. And you're going to have to literally unlearn everything that you've learned through your life there.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe you're going to remember what your mission is. So I'm like, all right, so what's the mission? He's like, all right, kid, have a good one. And then the show starts, and that's the show. It's rock and roll. And it's essentially, he's saying, this is the game of life. And that's what you're going to do. But there was no real reason for the show to have him. Like, there wasn't a live show yet. There wasn't anything. It was too early. I was time traveling, I guess.
Yeah.
The spacesuits are ready now. So whenever we need to do that, maybe we'll do that. But I feel like it would be cool.
Yeah.
And I like, philosophy of life and what we're doing here and the goal and whatever the fuck it is. I like that stuff. I like dancing with that. So that's my Norm story. But he was funny when he was drinking Shirley Temples.
Oh, when I was with him, he wasn't drinking Shirley Temples.
Well, he said that he's never had a sip of alcohol in his life.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe we weren't drinking.
Maybe you weren't.
It wasn't drinking.
I'm just fucking around,
Me
man.
too.
Yeah. Weird.
Got this out.
Very strange. All right, Adam Sand. So are there any comedy clubs that you're going to that are opening up? Because there was a brief opening.
There
right?
was an opening, yeah, but like, so I'm an asthmatic, and right now I'm living with my parents who are like not elderly, but they're old. They're like 70s, and my dad's 80.
Okay.
So it's like I'm not looking to take any sort of risk, even if it's a small one. And like I had the idea of bringing my own microphone because I also have a problem with sharing a microphone with people, and you know how many people talk into a microphone, who's cleaning it, so many things. So I was going to bring my own mic if I was going to do it, and then I was like, what's the rush? You know, what's the rush? Same reason I didn't go see Tenet. Same reason I didn't do stand up when I could have, and a lot of people didn't do it, and a lot of people did do it, and both are good choices, but that going out to a comedy club and doing 7 minutes or 10 minutes, I didn't need to do it.
The cons outweighed the pros in your specific situation.
And maybe it was a mistake, but I didn't go out and do it.
Well, it didn't last too long anyway.
No, it didn't.
So fuck it.
And also from what I heard with all the comics, there weren't that many people at the shows. Most of the people at the shows were just the comics in the show and a few of their friends. But I think the majority of people were still uncomfortable with going out to comedy shows.
Yeah, I feel it. Well, the only real reason I went to see Tenet was because it was Tenet.
Yeah. And I'm mad that I didn't see it in an IMAX theater and I'm going to have to see it in a normal size television without Dolby surround sound, 5.1, whatever. Christopher Nolan movies are meant to be seen in IMAX.
It's an experience.
Exactly. Every single one.
Speaking of Christopher Nolan and Batman.
Yeah.
Did you see the new trailer?
It's not much of a trailer, but I saw it and
with Pattinson?
Very promising. Really cool looking.
Looked pretty awesome.
Looked very awesome.
And how great did that Something in the Way version from Nirvana sound in that?
It was cool. I liked it.
I
liked it a lot.
It was super like synthy at the end and explosive and cinematic and like sci-fi almost. Dare I say sci-fi grunge a la MISCHO music. I was really into that. Mm-hmm. I thought he looked super cool.
He looked great. The little action sequence was amazing.
Oh, where he delivers the beating?
Yeah.
The I Am Vengeance thing, kind of cheesy.
It's that or I Am Batman. I Am Batman's been done too many times.
Yeah, but it's fucking awesome.
I'm sure he'll say it eventually.
Yeah,
right?
I'm Batman. I am Batman. Or Michael Keaton said that at some speech. Like, I don't know if it was like Stanford or Yale, and he was giving some...
They're like, dance, monkey, dance, say it.
Yeah, and at the end of the speech, and he's like, and if you remember anything that I had to say today, this is what I want you to remember. I'm Batman.
That's great.
And then the crowd just exploded and he walked off.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and he's like wearing like the hat and the fucking university outfit, you know, whatever the fuck that 200-year-old outfit is.
The pomp, what's it called?
The whole works, man.
The pomp and gown?
Yeah, the pomp, the gown. So you're working on a bunch of ideas, bunch of movie stuff, show stuff.
Right now, yeah. I'm working on a few shows. There was a whole bunch of like submit your ideas during the pandemic to CBC had an initiative, Netflix had an initiative. I submitted, but I didn't get accepted. But I had to. Those were the deadlines. Those two things had deadlines because it was like you have until this day to submit to CBC or CTV or Netflix. So I busted out a bunch of show ideas and wrote treatments and treated them and had one pagers and all this shit. So I have that in the bank now. So I have more stuff to pitch, and then I'm working on these other shows right now that they're still being developed and written, and a film idea.
All right.
Yeah.
And so I've dipped my toes in this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I'm seeing it is it's really about every project. It's almost like its own business plan. It's like who is working on it, who's attached to it. Not every formula is the same. Each project is its own universe.
Yeah.
Of people and this and that, and it's always a crapshoot.
It's always a crapshoot, and timing is everything. Because like some of the stuff that I worked on that I was proud of, it's not relevant to the pandemic era that we're in right now. So it's like that just goes on the shelf, and maybe in 2 years it'll be more pitchable and more receptive. But right now, what studios and networks are looking for is a little different than what it was a few years ago.
Have they been vocal about that?
Yeah.
So what are they saying?
They are looking for things that are meant to be efficient with a closed set, few cast members, few crew. They're looking for like cheap pandemic type programming, and they don't want it to be in a non-pandemic world.
Okay, so the non-pandemic world. So
Yeah.
the show, because you're talking about production now, and I totally understand that.
It's a mix of both.
Okay, but
So,
the
like,
actual narrative as well should be kind of pandemic.
Yeah. So it's got to be a little bit self-aware. So like one of the show ideas was like a heavily green screen type sketch comedy show similar to like Tim and Eric. And I really liked it. It had a few tentative names. One of them was like Dumbified. And I think that's what I pitched it as.
That's a great name.
Yeah. And it was just like two guys who live at their parents' house and go to high school with like a bunch of juniors, but they're adults. So like nothing makes sense. It's just like a crazy concept, and you don't acknowledge it. It's just take it for what it is.
Okay.
And it's just a whole lot of different scenarios that they go through. It was short form narrative, and it was very awkward, cringe type comedy. And I love the idea, but it didn't get picked up. But that doesn't mean it's not still pitchable, you know. But I don't know if this thing, because it's this idea was it was meant for a green screen. Everything takes place in front of a green screen, and we just keep changing the backgrounds and make it.
So wouldn't that
absurd.
Be
Great for right now?
great for right now, right?
Yeah. But so it didn't get picked up. But now, 2 years from now, is that going to be what people want, or are they going to want more to go back to the whole Entourage, Silicon Valley type sitcom?
Because do you think that this will change things forever? This era,
Yes.
right? I think so
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
In terms of like Hollywood productions.
At least for the rest of our generation's lifetime, because now we sort of have to be prepared for something like this and be ready to go if something like this ever happens again.
I see it from the economic standpoint of if you can make more efficient or cheaper content
Yeah.
that still slaps, then the budgets are just going to be drastically reduced.
Exactly. And profits are going to be drastically inflated.
Yeah. Well, that's the name of the game of business, right?
Yeah.
So if they're seeing that the pandemic is a perfect opportunity to learn how to make cheaper content, because reality shows do crazy good, and do they have big sets? I guess they kind of do. Or
They do, but a lot of the money goes into like testing and protocols that have to do with testing right now. Like there's a movie shooting here in Montreal, and people have to get tested 4 times a week. Every single person on set, if you're crew or cast, it's just nonstop. And there's all this protocol where you can't share your tools. X amount of people are allowed on set. A lot of people have to be in Zoom on set because they're not allowed to actually be on set. And it's just a lot of money is going into it. But at the same time, that budget's there because they have less workers on set. So it balances out at the end of the day.
how about animation?
Animation, I feel like
It's time for animation, or what?
it is time for animation, but from what I've seen, like with South Park and The Simpsons and stuff like that, they're going into every single cast member's house and setting up like a rig like this, and everyone's doing their voice work from home. I think Family Guy was doing that. They were showing a special. They had the producers go buy state-of-the-art sound recording stuff and go into every single cast member's home to set it up.
So that's retroactive, but imagine you're building for it.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you can set up this like lean operation of animation, like from the ground up, or maybe it's like only like 2 people who are doing all the voice. Like who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that there's gonna be a lot less. There's gonna be a lot smaller budgets moving forward. Overall,
Probably.
because they're learning that they don't need all the frills.
Yeah. So many frills.
So many frills,
It's ridiculous what was going on before. So
Yeah.
many frills.
and now something put a huge halt to it. The ecosystem tends to regulate itself.
Every 100 years or so, right?
Yeah. When did the dinosaurs get regulated?
60 million years ago?
Okay, yeah, 160 million, same thing.
Is it 100 million?
I think it's 65 million.
60. Yeah, that's right.
I remember hearing that.
I only know that because of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Because the movies, you know how like Aliens movie was like no one could hear you scream in space. Jurassic Park's tagline was 65 million years in the making.
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
And you know what's great about 65 million years ago?
It's
Like when you say that?
4 million years away from 69 million years ago.
Nice. No, but, well, yes, but also 10 years can pass, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It's still 65 million years ago. It's not like, oh no, it's 66 million years ago.
Yeah,
It's 65 pretty much forever.
forever.
Forever. It's 65 million years ago. I like it a lot.
It's crazy, yeah.
All right, so Adam Sand,
Yes.
we're going to wrap things up here.
We're gonna wrap it up.
We're gonna wrap it up,
Okay.
unless we talk about what else is crossing your mind, good sir.
I could. You want me to tell a really dumb joke?
I would love that.
Okay.
Let's hear a really dumb joke.
So, it's tough to date in this whole COVID world, but I've been on Tinder and I've been on Bumble, and I matched with a pretty cute girl. And conversation is hard for me because I'm not a wordsmith. I'm not very intelligent. I'm pretty dull. And so we started talking, and obviously, what else are we going to talk about but education in school? And so I was like, hey, what? I see you go to Concordia University. What do you study? And she told me she studied finance. And I was like, that's cool. And I'm not really the academic type, so I didn't know what to reply. So I panicked. And she's like, what do you study? And I told her, fine grasshoppers.
Nice. Very nice. That's an ass joke.
It's an ants joke?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, ass joke.
Yeah, I thought he heard it as, see, I'm an idiot.
No, because fine ants.
Fine ants. Yeah, fine grasshopper. No.
So I'll use that joke.
I guess I'm even dumber than you are.
Well, I don't think so. But so I'll set that up. That'll usually be my first joke when I do a stand-up set because it's like a false start. Because I'm a pretty dirty comedian on stage. I say horrible things.
Yeah.
But that's like a really bad dad joke. So they're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I go into something horrible.
So what would be your next? Okay, so that's a good joke.
So that's a Tinder Bumble joke. And then if I'm staying on dating, I'll go to something where, Tinder right now, it's okay. And I'm trying to get matches. I'm not getting a lot of matches, but every now and then, you know how Tinder sets ads up in between people? Like there'll be an ad for a car. I didn't know that they do that. And I thought I matched with a car. I was really excited. I've always wanted to fuck a car. And I thought finally Tinder is telling us it's okay to fuck a car. So I swiped right when I saw a Chevy. And then they tried to they gave me a number to a car garage, and I called up the car garage, and I was talking to the salesman, and I was asking him about the car and what I got to do to warm it up and how big the circumference is on the exhaust pipes. And he was like, why are you asking all these fucking questions? And I was like, well, I fucking matched with one of your cars on Tinder. When do I pick it up? And he told me I'm a fucking idiot.
All right.
But that's not as bad as the time they were serving me an ad for dogs. And I didn't know it was an ad, and I swiped right. There's a basset hound too. I've always wanted to fuck a basset hound. And anyways, I called up the breeder, and I'm like, hey, I matched with one of your dogs on Tinder. And they're like, no, you fucking didn't. We paid for that ad to be served to you. We paid money. And I was like, that's a fucking ad? And they're like, yeah. Anyways, it was just an ad. I thought I was matching with a car and an animal, but like, man, don't fuck with me like that, Tinder. Stop serving me ads. Right?
Yeah, fuck. Don't confuse the customer.
That's not even a joke. No, I'm serious. I went out, I bought kibbles. I thought we were going to have a great date. I got kibbles.
Are there kibbles to make dogs hornier? Like specific kinds?
Oh, no. Hey, what is it? Is it still, do you still use the term raw dog when you're raw dogging a dog?
I guess it serves its purpose, but yeah, raw dog.
Where did the term raw dog come from? Was that someone fucking a dog?
I have no idea. Raw dog.
Yeah.
Because that's what the term that is used.
Why isn't it raw? Like, have you ever raw catted someone?
Once.
What is that?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. But raw dog. I don't know. Was someone just say like, yeah, fucked a raw dog, and then it just got turned into a raw dog?
Maybe it has to do with doggy style, but even then, why is it doggy style and not like cat or lamb style? Like, aren't there a whole lot of animals that position themselves like that?
Yeah, but maybe we just have more exposure to dogs.
Oh, we do.
You know, like we see them. They're in our house. I don't know too many people with lambs.
Okay,
or llamas.
Or emu style is a sexual position that I would want to do. I would want to try that. So,
have you been on Tinder for real during the pandemic?
I have, yeah.
Okay, because I don't know anything.
It's really shit because I matched with a
vacuum cleaner.
A car. Yeah.
Oh fuck!
No, yeah, I've been on it. It's there's not that much activity going on. You get matches, but everyone just wants to chat. No one wants to meet up. I don't even really want to meet up with strangers that I don't know because that's a risk. But I had one video Tinder date. I wouldn't say it's a date, but the girl's like, hey, we've been chatting a bit. Should we video chat? And it went well, but like ultimately, I'm not going to meet her anywhere. We're not going for a restaurant. We're not going to get drinks. So like, it's getting cold outside. We're not going to walk around a park. I think it's like Tinder and dating for us single folk right now is going into hibernation, and we're either awaiting this vaccine or next summer when we could go on walks in parks.
Especially with this climate.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, the winter is going to be bad. Prepare yourself. Well, you got this nice place, so you're fine.
Yeah, I've got this place. I've got my little circle.
But like the summer wasn't so bad because we could go out into
parks.
It was
so beautiful,
and
man.
Picnic, and like everyone could be 6 feet away in a park. But in minus 30 in Canada, no, that's not happening.
If people are 6 feet away, they're going to die. You need that body heat.
You need that body heat.
So do you have a close circle of people that you've been seeing?
I have 2 friends I've been seeing.
Okay.
And then yeah, that's about it. And I went to my brother's for dinner the other night. He's got 4 kids. So I'm nervous going there, and I don't like going there, but I also like miss them. So I got to go see them, and I'll try to stay away from the kids. But it's tough because they're kids and they just want to like jump up on me and cough in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I ran the company, all those years ago, flu season came around, and a lot of employees had their kids in preschool or whatever.
That's where germs get transferred.
And that's where everyone was getting sick all the time. Everyone was always sick. Every fall or autumn. Who the fuck says autumn?
Yeah. Who says that?
You got to be a special case to say autumn.
Autumn.
Yeah. But in the fall, everyone got sick, and there's no different now. Kids spread that shit like crazy, and kids are going to school.
And they are. And my brother told me that this just this week, because the school has to tell you what's going on there. They don't name names, but they'll be like, okay, there was a COVID kid in another class, so everyone in that class got sent home for 2 weeks. Or something that happened this week is another kid in my niece's school, but not in her class and not in her age set, so they never see each other. One of their parents just got tested for COVID, so that whole class is out. And they're talking about shutting down schools again over here, but it's crazy because whenever a kid has a sniffle, they have to go get a COVID test right now. And in winter, like you said, flu's also going to be an active thing going around also, so I don't know. It might get messy, but hopefully we could fucking cross our fingers.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to get messy.
Yeah.
I think it's already messy. It's extremely messy.
It's messy. So you better be bringing a bucket and a mop.
Yes, you better.
You better.
You'll need it. Double up that soap, my friend.
Yeah.
Because it ain't going to be pretty.
No.
A friend of mine said that they're thinking about closing schools for about a month during the holidays.
Yeah, it makes sense. But it sucks for parents, or especially working parents, middle-class working parents. It's like, what the fuck are they going to do?
Yeah. It's all fucked up.
Yeah.
That's why I can only sympathize.
Yeah, all the kids I have, I don't know about except for 3.
Perfect. And how they doing?
They're
3.
They're in Alaska.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Anchorage?
Yeah.
Nice. Great place. I went on a cruise there once.
Me too.
Oh, isn't that where I met you?
Yeah. You don't remember Bessie and Linus?
Fuck.
Yeah, Bessie had 3 of my kids, bro.
Oh, old Bess.
Good old Bess.
Who knew she could still pop kids, huh, at 55?
Yeah, that honestly, these kids are sort of your fault because you're like, dude, she's 55. You could rock at her.
Very nicely done.
Yeah.
Very nicely done. Rock at her. All right, so Adam Sen, we heard your philosophies on reincarnation.
Yeah.
And the dolphin race of the interdimension.
Yes.
We heard your
bad jokes.
We heard your bad jokes that I liked.
See, so those jokes,
yeah,
they're funny and there's something funny to them, but I haven't been on stage with them in so long that I'm like, they may not hit, but I don't know because I'm not like swinging.
Well, it's
every day.
a different thing, like a one-person audience versus a room, because you can say, like the whole time during your stories, you're saying stupid, ridiculous. I wouldn't say stupid. I say well thought out, ridiculous stuff.
But there's still the how do you go from A to B to C to D to E while keeping the attention and being funny? For example, the Tinder swiping with a dog and a car thing. I've been working on that. I haven't done that live. That's like something I wrote during COVID. I think it's really funny and there's something to it, but I still don't know the best way to deliver it. And I won't know that best way until I do it in front of a fucking live audience and like see the people reacting to each word that I say.
And how to punch them.
Where do I pause? Where do I punch? Where do I leave them hanging? Do I say raw cat? You know?
Yeah.
Is that part of it? I don't know. We think the same thing is funny, so it's different. Like I'm expecting you to laugh, and also you're the host of the show, and you don't want to leave your guest not laughing.
Yeah, I want to be like,
know?
I hate that joke.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to hear that again.
I would play off that if you told me that. That would be fun.
Like this is what would make it funny.
Yeah, we'd go into improv if you do something like that.
Yeah, well, we did that a couple of times.
Yeah, with Bessie.
Yeah, with Bessie and our shower demonstration.
That wasn't a joke.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it was. Sure as hell wasn't a joke before.
Oh, they're listening? Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah. No. There's no jokes here. There's no jokes here, my friend. So what else did we cover on this?
Music, movies,
movies. The origin of our personalities.
Yes,
we'll never really know where it comes from, but all it is that we are who we are.
That's
right. We heard your stand up.
Some of it.
Where can people find you? Where can people watch you Twitch stream?
Okay, so I am the Adam Sand Show across all platforms.
That's pro, bro.
It's great. It's great on Twitch. My Discord server is called the Ass Gang because ASS is Adam Sand Show. So if you're a fan of Adam Sand and the Adam Sand Show, you're a member of the Ass Gang, baby.
So that reminds me of numerology and how things are meant to be and astrology and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was an afterthought. I came up with Adam Sand Show first, and then Ass Gang was birthed out of those ashes.
Okay.
And there may be another YouTube channel that I'm opening up soon.
Okay, what's going to be the focus on that?
Sketch comedy, gaming comedy.
Okay.
Dumb stuff.
And so how's the Twitch streaming been going?
It's going. It's a slow grind, you know? So I'll make appearances on shows that have a lot of people and people will follow me off of that. But then when I stream, I'll get like anywhere from 5 to 20 viewers. And I had 30 subs, which is decent. And every now and then there's this one guy in California who keeps donating $50 whenever I stream.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like
Elon?
Not Elon. This guy named D74D. He's chill. Shout out to D74D. Thanks for all the donos, baby.
Shout out.
Yeah.
D74D?
Yeah, he keeps giving me $50. And what's cool is all the
He's buying what you're selling, brother.
He said this money's for a haircut, but I haven't gotten a haircut yet.
Oh.
And yeah, he's buying what I'm selling, which is bullshit. And yeah, Adam Sancho, Twitch.
Okay.
Instagram, Twitter.
So Adam Sancho, not the Adam Sancho.
The Adam Sancho.
The Adam Sancho. At the Adam Sancho. I love that. Very concise, very nice. The Adam Sancho. I love it. I'm starting to experiment with Discord a little bit too.
Yeah, it's a really good place to like have a community of people, and they're not necessarily talking about you or your music, but they're talking to each other and to you about whatever the hell they want to be talking about.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be the cult guy who's like addressing the people. I just want to have a place like that's why I created the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers. That's what it is. Yeah. And I think mine's gonna be called the Fifth Dimension. And it's where just a bunch of Looney Tunes who are into philosophy and music and
about it, yeah.
Good times, they can just shoot the breeze with each other.
It's really cool. It's interesting how many people will go into servers and they'll all start like a voice chat or video chat and just hang out.
Can you have a video chat within Discord?
Yeah.
So they have all that shit set up?
Some nights I'll be in Discord chats, private chats with like 12 people, and we're all on video. And it's like we're all doing nothing and playing video games. And whenever someone talks, we talk. It's just like hanging out.
Really?
It's crazy.
Wow. So I've been having a really hard time giving a shit about email lists and emails and all that stuff because it just sucks.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Mm-hmm. I don't even open emails from people who I like.
Me neither.
Right? So if Discord can be a nice place where not only can I, post my stuff when it's time to come out, but where there's this community of the time travelers who are there talking about whatever they want to talk about and sharing links and doing all this great stuff.
That's the place to do it. It's really a phenomenon. It's crazy.
So I'm very excited. I had a meeting this morning about that stuff and all kinds of other crap like that. So I think Discord is the way to go.
It's really cool. It's really cool. And then you have people dropping in and dropping out. Some people on Discord will open a video chat and just have their camera on them as though they're streaming, but they're not streaming. They're just in Discord. And you could just, if you're in their server, you could just join the call and be there and be like, oh, I'm here now. Let's talk about this. It's really, it's also addictive because when you're in a call with 12 people at 4 a.m., it's hard to be like, okay, I'm going to sleep now, because you just want to like participate and be active and have a conversation.
Yeah, it's so new to me and so foreign that I don't even know what to expect.
Yeah, I'll show you on my phone right after we've wrapped.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So is there anything else that you'd like to plug or like to promote, my friend?
I'd like to plug a certain hole in your body, my friend.
You know what? I think that'd feel good.
Okay.
That'd feel really nice. So maybe after you show me Discord,
yeah,
you can show me that hole you want to plug.
After I show you Discord, I'll show you Dick Sword.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And my name is MISCHO, and you can find me at MISCHO on Instagram. I'm going to start a Discord. If you like hot sauce that's lightly smoked, then you can try Smoke Show Hot Sauce.
Delicious. I've tried that so many times.
Discount code or promo code MISCHO.
How do you spell that?
MISCHO.
Oh, what flavors do they have right now?
They have a slightly smoked jalapeno hot sauce. They have a lightly smoked jalapeno barbecue hot sauce. They've got a lightly smoked jalapeno aioli.
That sounds nice.
They've got a...
that sounds like it would go good with calamari.
It does go well with calamari.
Jeez.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
They've also have spice blends. They have, what do you call it? The like seasoning, like steak spices.
Okay.
Chicken and fish rubs.
Wow, they've got a lot of product now.
A lot of product. And the Dijon is coming. So smokeshowsauce.com.
Crazy.
For your fixins'. And the greatest album of all time is coming soon. And that's all I can say.
Is it going to be bigger than The Coming of Christ?
Of course. Obviously. Obviously, it's going to be bigger than The Coming of Christ.
Yeah, okay.
That's what Tom DeLonge told me to say. Yeah. And yes, so this album is coming out. The podcast is out. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you can, like the podcast or follow or subscribe to the podcast or leave comment or a rating, that would be amazing. And if you leave a comment and a rating and you take a screenshot and you send it to me, to my Instagram DMs or wherever you can find me, then I will hook you up with a birthday card.
Oh, that's so nice.
Or a Christmas card. Ooh. Whichever one comes first. And Adam Sand, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, man, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
Hey, you're a beautiful soul. Yeah. You're a beautiful guy, and I'm envious of your hair. So for everyone listening to this, you should go see this, because at 45 minutes, the hair is freed.
It comes out. I whip out the hair.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Well, all right. Well, that's it, my man. Take her easy. Take care. And all the members of the Galactic Federation, I shall see you soon. Have a good one, everyone.